Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com. Hey guys, welcome back to the tiny bedroom studio. Got process videos coming up here shortly. I know it's been a while. I am working on it. I've been filming pieces of them. We're working through several different processes right now, including malting corn, potentially doing a smoked malt video as well. We are working on a couple of things with some of Wayne Herbert's equipment from Ozark Stillworks. We've got there's a Mr. Fusion video coming, a Shocker video coming, and then some more Black Forest Edition, 13 stills, one piece at a time, Distilling Institute crossover stuff coming. I'm just filming it in little pieces as I go. Bear in mind, it has been wintertime. It's been cold. Fermentation slow down for me. I don't heat fermentations typically, etc. So we are getting there. But I do have a bunch of emails to get to today. And I like sharing these with people too, because even though they are talking head videos, you guys seem to respond pretty well to them. And even when they don't really contain a lot of questions and they're just people making remarks or talking about various different things, I sometimes find them pretty interesting and I learn a lot from them. Excuse me. I got a little bit of hiccups going on here. So this, I hope I say this name right. It's Nicholas Morgenstern. And this is more of a statement email than questions, but there are some questions in here and I'll address those as I go. And it's a fairly long email, but I found it interesting and you guys might find it interesting as well. So thank you once again for answering my questions. I don't know if you want to answer this on your channel, but I really like an answer on mail if you don't answer it on the channel. I always like to answer on the channel, guys, because I like to share these things with you guys as well. So the last time you answered my question about maceration, I noticed that we have a completely different tradition or methods for it. In Denmark, there's a strong tradition for making homemade schnapps by just buying a very neutral spirit like vodka, or here in Denmark, Klar Brondum. I don't know if I said that right, probably not. Brondum is the largest Danish schnapps distillery, and Klar means clear. And then adding herbs / nuts / fruits to it. You would place it in mason jars and let it set for a specific amount of time. I have been doing mostly 3 different kinds. Green walnut, harvested in August when the fruit is still on it. Not like you buy in stores where the core is the only thing you get. So this is going to be very similar to like a nocino, but it sounds like they actually let the nut develop in the actual husk as well. Blackthorn berries, Prunus spinosa, and Miracagale. If I have the time to take the 5-hour drive to get to where it grows, when it is time to forage it. The green walnut is cut in quarters and it sets for 4 months to 1 year. That sounds about right for the nocinos that we do here. We usually do those at the end of June and let them go for at least 4 months. Prunus spinosa sets for 1 to 3 months, depending on how much of the stone / core taste you want to extract. That's really interesting because it sounds like you're going for some of those bitter almond sort of flavors that you get from stone fruit stone. In particular, kind of like whenever I do peach brandy, I'll always leave a few stones behind in order to pull some of that bitter almond characteristic across. Miracagale only use the fresh new leaf picked in spring and it sets for 24 to 72 hours. It's really interesting to hear you mention Miraca because that is a traditional ale herb that I have actually used in the past in fermentations for stone beer or grut that we distill. So using the above method for the 3 different kinds, which ABV should I use? So far I've been using 40% ABV. So for me, I'll tell you, I think 40% is just fine. That's going to get you the extraction you want without going overboard. If you go to a higher proof, you're going to be pulling more of those tannins and more of those heavy components that might take your schnapps out of balance. Now, what you call schnapps here, much more for us, would be very similar to like a liqueur or a cordial, especially if some sugar was added. But I think that ABV is exactly where you're going to want to be at more than likely in order to pull the positive flavors across that you actually want to enjoy in that particular drink. You guys will have to ignore the dog in the background. She's ready to go outside, but the chickens are still out, and she can't go out while they're out because she will kill them. So I'm trying to break her of that, but half German Shepherd, half Black Lab. So and still a puppy. She's 1 year old today, so she's ready. She's just ready to destroy anything that gets in her path. All right, moving on. I was all excited to get my first still running yesterday. Awesome. I bought a T500 with a limbic dome. Not sexy and not the most interesting one, but I'm no engineer and I wanted something that worked from the start. I will probably go crazy and get something huge and wild later, but for now I just need to get started and learn. Hey, those T500s are cool. I think they're really interesting. I've thought about getting one before. I just never have made the investment or whatever. If they want to support this channel, I'll take one and review it for sure. I'll just tell you that right now. I've even thought about buying an air still because I think for, you know, something on the table where you want to do a really small amount of something, you just want to test something out, those air stills are awesome. They look like a little coffee percolator or something, and you can set up and do what you want to do with them and do it quick, right? You don't have a lot of, there's not a lot of setting everything up, tearing everything down, cleaning everything up, etc. So any of those things are worthwhile. Of course, when I get to the location and check my gravity, the fermentation was stuck. The cold weather completely stopped the fermentation, so I got it going again and hoping to get that my first run this next weekend. Let me know how that run went, because I think you sent this email last week, so hopefully it went well for you. I understand, I feel for you on the cold weather slowing down the fermentation. I have the same thing going on right now. Also taking, you know, a little more time doing things right now because I found out recently that I have cataracts at 38, almost 39 later this month, that I'm going to have to get taken care of. So I feel you, man. Life happens. I'm running a 25-liter sugar wash with 1 kilogram white sugar beet sugar, 2 kilograms unrefined cane sugar, and 1 kilogram sugar beet blackstrap. That's interesting. I didn't even know there was sugar beet blackstrap. I guess there is. My plan is to make this my neutral spirit for maceration for the above mentioned schnapps, or maybe just 2 of them, the walnut and the prunus. I think I will put them in medium toast New American oak barrels after. So that's cool that you're actually going to do some aging or maturation to those schnapps. So we do a little bit of that here at the house when we do those extractive sort of things, like we would call a cordial. I also know Gary Heingardner out at Wood Hat Distillery in Missouri. He also ages some of his cordials, and his cordials are just phenomenal. They are fantastic. He does a persimmon, he does a blackberry, does a couple other things. He also does a nocino that is fantastic too. I wanted to do a quote-unquote rum also, but from sugar beet instead. Well, that's cool. Since that is what we grow here, do you have any suggestions on where to start with rum? Should it all be blackstrap molasses, or which ratio? I will probably double or triple pot distill it since I don't have a column. Is there anything added to rum, or is it just the molasses, yeast, lactobacteria, and barrel that give the funk and funky rums, which is the kind I like, interesting flavors all the time? Well, it's cool to hear you using sugar beet, because sugar beet was pretty traditional for a lot of Europe, even in the Swiss Alps for absinthe. The absinthe tradition, obviously often based off of, and after the Victorian era, off of industrial pharmaceutical alcohol that is made from a sugar beet base. So that's really cool to hear you playing with that. Again, I didn't know that blackstrap was a thing from sugar beet. Typically for us, you know, over here, if we're doing a rum, we'll, at least for me, that's what I use is molasses, and not necessarily blackstrap. I prefer table molasses. When we did our rum at my distillery, that's what we used, was fresh pressed table molasses, basically. The purest grade that we could possibly get, as opposed to blackstrap, which is a little bit more of a, I don't want to say, I hesitate to say waste product, but to some degree that's kind of what it is. As far as the funky rum thing, so that relies a lot on dunder pits or muck pits. This is not my area of expertise. Rum is not, I will tell you up front. Check out Moonshine Shua. He does a lot on rum for home distilling, and I know that he's done videos on muck pits and dunder pits, and he's done various different ones where he's actually isolated different bacteria, such as colostrum, let's see, I think Brettanomyces, lactobacillus, and then the other one that a lot of people don't know about is propionic bacteria, or which basically makes propionic acid, and that propionic acid creates an almost artificial rum flavor. I have used all of these at various different times. All right, sorry about that interruption. Had a phone call I had to take care of there, and now my camera's all out of whack. Yeah, it's just gonna have to be what it is for this video, guys. Anyways, that got a little longer than I intended. Any thoughts you have on the above rambles would much be appreciated. Kind regards, Nicholas. P.S. I got a batch of Prunus schnapps that I forgot about, so the maceration time ended up being a year plus. It got way too bitter. My plan was to make some more, not a year plus, and redistill it, and then use that to raise the proof of my maceration schnapps before dumping it into the barrel. Was thinking to do the same with the walnut. Would it be a wasted effort, or do you think it would be worth the trouble? I think it would potentially very much so intensify the flavor profile of what you're working on, and I think it would definitely be worth the effort and the time and the trouble to do it. I mean, you never really know until you try it, but yeah, if you wanted to really intensify those flavors, that would be a fantastic way to do it. Anyways, guys, as always, reach out to me, email, social media. Sometimes, by the way, guys, if you're not a friend of mine on Facebook, for example, your messages do fall into my spam folder basically on there, and it may take me a couple weeks before I remember to actually check that folder. If that's the case, I do highly apologize, but once I see it, I will answer your question. Also, check out thealchemistcabinet.com. Love y'all. Later.